pause. I think it's time to go
Oh
into the fan
God, that
question.
face. Sorry.
Kyrie, yeah, baby, that's you, girl. That's all you.
Yes. All right. Our first fan question of the day is, do you think Chan's obsession with Malia is healthy or problematic? Sometimes I think it's really sweet. Then seconds later, I'm reminding myself that those are really some toxic traits. Am I alone in this delusion? Absolutely not. I love having that delusion because it's really sweet, like one aspect of it. And then when it gets into the, you start having thoughts like Elysia, then it just ruins the whole thing, It's just like, dang it, you're right. Let me stop.
Mhm.
but it is really sweet. And I think what's sweet about it for most people is the effort. It takes a lot of effort to do all of the things that Chan's doing. Even though he's not personally doing it, it takes effort to hire people that you can confide in that aren't going to snitch on you, to go and put all these cameras up and do that. Like, you really care that much about me that you would be willing to go through all this trouble to make sure that I'm the perfect person for you. Like, that aspect of it, I think it's just the effort that's just so romantic. Like, we want people to do these outrageously amazing things for us just to say, I care about you that much, but at the end of it, it's like, you probably shouldn't be doing that. You might need to go to jail because I don't know what else you're gonna do,
Right.
but I think it's the effort of it, at least for me, that, I romanticize about just somebody caring so much that they're gonna bug your bathroom. It's just so sweet.
Okay. So what I'm gonna say, there are other ways of showing that you love and care. Okay. Don't bug me. Don't record me. Don't hire a team. No, if you want to put a lot of effort, then put a lot of effort into clearing your schedule to take me out and spend time with me and ask me questions and let's go on dates. Let's cuddle. Let's be intimate. Let's do that. I got a whole team spying on you and your peeps and everything you do. Oh, not just that, but also want her business transactions, her he want papers and recordings. No, 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 no. I don't think there's anything even slightly romantic about that. I'm going to say that it is very problematic and unhealthy. Because if anything were to happen, if if they were, God forbid, and I mean that because of this mess, God forbid anything happened between him and Malia, it's game over for her. I mean, homeboy knows every aspect of her life, every hair on her head he knows now, and that can be, and he's a triad. So, as long as everything is good, but mm-mm, no, there's no part of that I find, and I love you both for that. But no, I don't think any of it is sweet, caring. No, there are other ways to put effort into me and other ways of getting to know me and showing me that you care. I don't even know if that's showing you that you care. That's not caring. That's a total invasion of privacy. That's not caring. Okay, that's my take on it, Karina.
Well, I love your take. I think that it's very necessary. Again, like I said, I always laugh because I always say that like the three of us are so much alike. It's almost like one person with like three perspectives. You know what I mean? Like, we're all like so much alike. It's kind of actually crazy. It's like, yeah, God put this together for real. So I definitely I appreciate your perspective because again, you always keep me grounded because I'm flying away, baby. I'm like, this has to, I'm like, because you know me. Is it healthy? No. This obsession that he has with Malia is not unhealthy, but baby, it's sexy. Like, I'm gonna tell you the truth. Like, it's not healthy. It's problematic. It's toxic. But it's like, I need you to be real ungodly. Like, I need you to obsess about me. Like, come get this, baby. Like, yeah, okay. But again, because with my toxic self, I would call Alicia and she would help bring me back to reality. She'd be like, no, Corenna, you're going to end up in a dumpster, in like 4 dumpsters in multiple pieces, right? And that's why it's so good to have people who keep you grounded. Because I'd be like, oh, okay, so you want this? Don't let me find no camera. Don't let me find a camera.
If
honey,
she
she got
found
a,
a camera, she's putting on a show.
I'm putting
If
on
she
the
knows you're
biggest
looking,
parade.
I was gonna say the same thing.
Honey,
yeah.
I put on a
Corena's
show. Oh, you
putting
want
on
to
the whole
watch? Oh,
show.
you want to watch? I got a
You're like,
show for
wait,
you,
is that a
baby. Papi
camera?
Chulo, I got a show for you, honey. You about to be like, does she
Yeah.
know she's being recorded? And I'm about
Mm-hmm.
to do it up for you, for you.
Be twerking and
So,
stuff. Girl.
honey, I'll be a whole animal. You know what I'm saying? And that's the reason why I don't have no friends. That's the reason why I'm a homebody. That's the reason why I was homeschooled. That is the reason why I grew up a sheltered little church girl, because God was like, there is a beast on the inside of that little heifer. And if it ever gets unleashed, she gonna set a fire to a city. So God knew it. I have been suppressed. You see what I'm saying? Like, I've been married almost 18 years. Like, I got married as a teenager, not because I was pregnant or because I didn't have my first baby until I was 21. But see, God knew me. He was like, I know my daughter. Corenna has been locked in a vacuum seal on purpose because she don't know how to act. She don't know how to act. God has kept me from certain people and places and situations. He know me. So yeah, back to the question. It was like, sometimes I think it's really sweet. The second later, I'm reminding myself that those are some toxic traits. Am I alone in my delusion? Absolutely not. And let's talk about it again. The fact that the man is sexy as hell and he got money, it's like, where that camera at? Let me do this. But if he was like a janitor, or something like, you know what I'm saying? Like, or the maintenance guy at your apartment or something like that, and he was 65 years old with a massive beer belly, I'd be like, no! I'd be like, I can't believe it.
So then you know it's wrong. So you know it's wrong.
Yes.
It's like, it's only cool if he's hot. But Lord,
Yeah. See
if
the
he look
delusion?
like mess, then it's like, oh.
Yes. If he's a mess, then it's like, you know what?
It's
You
funny
had
because
no
it's
right.
so true.
And so that's about, and again, we talked about this a few weeks ago, and I blame Lifetime. I do. I blame Lifetime television for women. As a 13, 14-year-old girl, I was very impressionable. Okay. And then all those Saturday marathons of movies of the woman who moves into the neighborhood and the good looking neighbor, and he was a stalker and he's following her and she don't know it, and he knows her every move. He knows what type of flowers she likes. He knows what she buys at the store, and they just bumping into each other. And I'm like, wow, that's like really nice. And he's trying to get to know his.
They all look good too. That's the thing.
That's what I'm saying. That's the delusion.
They all look
Because
good.
they weren't unattractive. They weren't, overweight. They was always like on point. Like, I don't know what it is about, somebody being attractive and a little bit dangerous. Like, but if you are dangerous and you look deranged, like somebody from the hills have eyes, all bets are off. I'm calling the feds, baby. We're not doing it, So that's the toxic. I'm toxic. Okay. And I will freely admit that I'm so glad that I'm married, because my husband is not a toxic person. He's such a he's an angel, really, he is. And it helps with that balance, because if he was a bad person, I know what God is trying to pull out of me so I don't be. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you don't get fire and fire together because it creates a firestorm. So he's a total angel, he's a sweetheart. So he's not crazy like this. And I just thank God I did not come across a Chan type of a dude. Like, I'm glad I didn't come across somebody like that, as naive and as whimsical as I am, because I'll make it into a fairy tale. He's a drug lord? Okay. He's doing this for the family. Yeah.
Girl being there helping him packaging bricks. Talking about, oh, this is so, but I'm holding down my man. Like, no, baby girl, you going to jail.
Today.
Right.
Yeah, that's a little bit. Oh, Alicia, you know what? Yeah. Next question.
Okay.
I have exposed myself on this podcast. These people,
it's coming out. She is here.
She's here, baby.
That's okay, because we love you. And you're also one of God's children. So
I'm God's child.
Okay.
The blood of Jesus.
So, next question would be, do you think Russell's attitude towards women is common among men, or was this an extreme example? I think I talked a little bit about this in the beginning. I don't know. Me and Corenna grew up around brothers and for me cousins that talked like this. This is what we would hear. How they would
Yeah,
talk to each other. We'd
this
be
is
in the
very
next room
common.
somewhere like, "Mm?" And I
Mm-hmm.
remember when I got into high school, a lot of like I refused to date anybody that went to my school because I knew
Right.
how guys talked about, women to each other. And so I didn't associate with nobody at school romantically. Um Now as far as Russell, I kind of felt like for him, I would if I was to hear him say the things that he was saying to Chan, I would feel like, okay, I'm gonna make you prove it. Like I feel like he was being a little extreme, almost putting on. Because when he first asked Shan about what kind of girl it was like, okay, so, and I mean, he went down the whole like Asian timeline. Is she Korean? Is she Thai? Is she this? And boom, 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 boom. And that was the first question. He's like, no, she's black. He's like, oh, well, in that case, and he said what he said. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make you, yeah. I want to see if that's really something you into. Or he's like, yeah, I mess with him heavy. Like, we about to see. That's how, yeah. So I think it was a little bit of an extreme example, or maybe he really is. I'd have to look down his track record. Only Chan would know that. Like, okay, hold on. Um, I don't remember you having any black girlfriends or something like that, and
Right.
um, yeah. So to answer if I think it's common among men, I think yes, but maybe not to that extreme, or maybe even worse.
I think it's
We're not
worse.
men, so we don't know what they say,
Right.
so to speak. Just it could be common, but as far as Russell's concerned, I think it was a little on the extreme side. Who else wants to
Kyrie,
answer?
what are your? Oh, Kyrie, go ahead.
Yeah, I do think it's common. I guess it depends on what circle you're in, also, because I was sitting here thinking of the men that in my life that I've heard speak about women, but I grew up pretty sheltered, like in the church, and I went to private school up until I was in middle school, so I didn't have a really big glimpse of the outside world. So all the men that I knew of, unless it, specific situations, but the most of the men that I knew always spoke respectfully around women, yes,
Mhm.
ma'am, sis, missionary, it's like everybody had a proper title. Um, and then when you get older and you're flipping through those channels on TV and you cross some crazy music, and you get
Mhm.
out into the world as you're in your teenage years, and you go to your cousin's house, and you get different interactions. So that's how it happened for me. But yeah, I definitely, especially nowadays, men definitely speak poorly, about women, and it can be harsh. And they may not say it always in front of us. You do have those chameleons that know when to
Definitely.
turn it on and turn it off, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll talk that junk in front of their boys, but they know they're not going to do that in front of their mama or their aunties or, their sisters and stuff. So, yeah, sadly, I'd have to say there are a lot of Russells out there.
I definitely think that Russell's talking was extremely common in that attitude. And maybe some people are like, well, I've never heard anybody talk like that. Well, I don't know what circles you run in, but maybe I should have been born in those. I talk about I have four brothers, I have cousins and male friends. Even my father. My father was like, he was such a savage. Like, he was his businessman and, he owned his own business and Brother Scott, Deacon Scott, Reverend Scott. But it's like when he was with his family, if he saw a woman walking down the street, he'd be like, look at the hips on that broad, And I'm just like, sir, you are a married man. Like, he would be peeping people out. He'd be like, ooh, look at her. Ooh, that's a brick house. Now, that's a woman, And I'd be like, Yeah, my dad was a mess. And every time he would do it in front of my mom, and my mom would be like, you just don't have no type of regard for me at all. And she would just go somewhere and look out the window like, I'm just so done. No, Alicia knows, because my dad would just act a fool, honey. If he saw a beautiful woman, he'd stop it in his steps like, nah, I got to take all of that in, and he'd be like, because a woman is just beautiful. And I'm admiring all her assets. And so, when you're a little girl and you hear your daddy talk like that and you hear your brothers, I remember I was at the bar one night and I was with all 4 of my brothers and my nephew, who's a year older than me. And we were just all went out as like a family. Like, my husband was there, my sister was there, and then my eldest brother, he was there. And I don't know what happened, but my brothers all, and my nephew pulled out their phones, ladies and gentlemen, and started showing coochie pictures. Women who have sent pictures of their private parts, their breasts. And I was like, what? And I walked over. I'm like, and everybody's phones is up. And I'm just seeing vagina, and I'm seeing breasts, and I'm seeing booty, and I'm seeing thongs, and, I'm seeing full out photos. And it's just like, when you look at somebody's phone, how you can just see all the pictures just lined up like on that little wall. And I was like, is that all you have is pictures of women? And I'm talking about the rainbow, baby. The rainbow of all the women. And I was like, okay, see, this is the reason why I was the way. I mean, I think deep down inside, I'm a whole animal, but like, I don't allow the animal to escape. I've always kept the animal on lock. You know what I mean? Thank the Lord. Because hearing them talk about the women the way that they did, and, and like my brother Courtland would get on here and front so hard, y'all. Like he would front so hard. Me and my friends, we never spoke about women like that. That's a lie. Y'all talk about things from positions to how the labia looks. Like you guys are talking about everything. Her areola was really huge, and I thought that was straight. And I'm like, y'all paying attention to that? You know what I mean? And so yes, I do think that men talking about women, the way that Russell was, it's I think as extreme as it was, I've heard talk like that. And I've heard it even worse than that. And it used to just frustrate me so much because I'm like, so that's how y'all talk about people, right? And then when women shelter ourselves, or when we're not allowing ourselves to be comfortable or free around you, then it's, oh, you got an attitude, or you think you cute. No, I'm trying not to be somebody that you're going to talk about. I'm trying not, you know what I'm saying, to have some type of freaking virtue, because apparently everybody that you've met, ends up being a hoe or a slut. And that is a label and a name that gets thrown around so freely, and it doesn't apply to everybody. But everybody's a bee, everybody's a hoe, everybody's a slut, everybody's a thought. Everybody just falls into your categories. What F you in your category, my guy? You know what I'm saying? Because you can say whatever you want to say, but it ain't going to be the truth about me. I tell people all the time, baby, run my name like it's a credit report. You ain't going to find no bodies over here, period. And we've made sure. And I mean, I was always very determined. I was like, ain't nobody going to be able to be like, well, I had her. No, you didn't. But you didn't, sir. But you didn't. You really did. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to be talked about in that way. And then I found out that people lie. I have somebody right now back home who lies to this day. Like, oh, I had her, and oh, she's wild and bit. Sir, what are you talking about? Lying. So I'm like, okay, so clearly he has some type of fantasies in his mind happening. Because I'm like, if it happened, it happened. You know what I'm saying? Things go down. But it didn't. And this man is in his 40s still telling lies about something that happened when he was in his early 20s. Sir, you're a liar. You know what I mean? So men talk and they tell lies and they do exaggerate stories. But this is real conversation these people are having. And this is another point that I want to make. That when a man says something, he's automatically believed. If he says that he had her 3 ways from Tuesday, bent over this way, bye. Nobody's even checking for that woman to be like, well, did that really happen? Or, oh no, because she's embarrassed. I literally had somebody ask me, are you sure you guys didn't do something? Maybe you're just a little embarrassed. I said, I'm a grown woman. I'm full-fledged, baby. I walk in all my power and all of my glory. Okay. If something happened, then it happened. You know what I'm saying? There ain't nothing to be like, people do stuff. Like, you know what? Yeah. Okay. Because the guy is handsome. I'm not going to say he's not handsome, but he definitely has a whole lot of Mike traits, a whole bunch of them, too many. Right. He's super toxic. He's just a bad human being. I was trying like to talk to him at one point, and he just wasn't registering like mentally. And he flashed, and that was it for us, and we just stopped talking. So I'm like, I was 17 when we stopped talking. That was 19 years ago, sir, and you are still no, because I had her. She wanted me. So you really hurt. You really hurt that after all these years, Corenna kept moving on. But when I saw how crazy he was and he flashed, I was like, no. But to keep telling these lies, men are always believed and always validated in their lies. People will just run with the story. Like, oh, well, he said, I don't care what he said. Come check with me. I'll tell you the truth. It didn't happen. All right, so I'll go on to the next question. Do you think Chan feels pressure from being the son of a triad leader? Absolutely. I think that the triad's a very special and unique organization, and a lot of how they move is surrounded and cultivated by their culture. Seems to me like Chan comes from a very traditional Chinese background, and his father being the leader of this organization, I think that is immense pressure on him. So yeah, that's my take on that. What is y'all's?
Yeah, totally. How could he not, and that's another reason why he has to be so careful in his relationship, you know, with Malia and everybody else, because he does feel that pressure to fulfill those shoes, and even be better, so even though it's his father's name, he's still having to make a name for himself in the streets, because it's soon going to be him in his father's shoes. So
I'm gonna say yes. He definitely feels the pressure. His father hasn't met Malia, and this is about to be a big part of his life. And with her being black, that can present some issues. And then also, her dad is already starting off with debt owed to the family, so there's that side of it too. We're like, okay, this girl's already coming in with problems that she don't even know about, and so yeah, he might be feeling a little pressure there, like, okay, this is what I'm feeling, I got to bring her into my family, and we already got ties with them, negative ones already. And then especially since Russell kind of fell short, it's like he has to step up and he has to be that guy. His father sent him to Yale to study all this, finance and business and stuff like that. And so, yeah, his dad has put a lot into him being the next leader. So, yeah, there's a couple little things there that, he could be feeling some pressure about. So, yeah.
I really like your take on that too, Alicia.
yeah, it's very good. All right, our next question. Do you think Malia will positively influence Chan, or will she cause him to lose focus on maintaining his family legacy? I feel like it could go either way. You know, if she does positively influence Chan, how does that change his life now? How does that, his whole family is in this triad, so would that mean him having to separate from the family and choose Malia and run off, and hopefully they can hide forever because somebody's going to be coming for you. Well, that's typically how it works in the movies. Or, if if Malia doesn't positively influence, is she going to join up with him? And what if she decides not to join up with him? Does that put her life in jeopardy? And then is Chan going to have to take her out because she's not, going along with the plan? So many different possibilities run through my head when I think about that. But yeah, I wonder. And so a part of me wants her to turn bad just for the sake of a good story. Like, ooh, that would be sexy, and give her that, but we're gonna have to give her that cat suit, like and then the fairy tale side is she's gonna melt his heart and he's gonna turn from a beast to a handsomer prince, and then they're gonna run off into the sunset and have babies and just have this beautiful family, so I don't know what I want. Well, I know what I want. I want Malia to turn bad. I do. That's it.
You always root for the villain. I do too. I don't know why.
I do.
It's fun. We it's harder than princess stories.
They're the underdogs, and there's a reason why they turned bad. You know what I'm saying? Like they used to be us. We could have turned bad at one point, but we chose to, have a heart, and then if we have to go bad a little bit, we'll do it. And then we'll go back, But that's why I love the villain story, and I always root for the villain for the most part, because I'm just like, man, you guys broke him. Y'all did this. Y'all should have been nice to that man sitting on the corner and gave him some coins instead of knocking his cup out of his hand, So, anyways, I digress.
That's so mean. Just knocking cups out of folks' hands. Lord.
They be doing it.
Most. The absolute.
Doing the most. Yeah, I love what both of you guys had to say. And, I'm just so stuck on that because I believe since Chan can operate in two worlds, he's already doing it. He has legal businesses and he has multiple of those, and he's in two different arenas. He has organized crime businesses, but he has legit businesses. I don't know. Malia's positive influence, I think, will be a positive on his life. I don't think it would affect his business. Like Kyrie was saying, maybe he wants to run off to the sunset and have some children, but who's coming after you? You got enemies in these streets, right? Like, you can't do all of what they have done and then like, okay, well, I'm going to retire now. And so everybody punching out at 5:00, I'm done. That's not how this works, and even for the family, like, I don't think his father would allow him to walk away. You are too important to what we have built. And I think Russell might have a problem with that. Like, so you're going to just walk away over a chick? Like, okay, like you act like you ain't never met a pretty face before. Like, get with it, bruh. Or find somebody who can accept the lifestyle that you have. So I think Malia will have a positive influence on Chan as a human being. I don't necessarily believe that it will translate into his business because he's a two-faced character, like a lot of people that we see on here, where they navigate the two worlds. Malia's love for him will, help him be a happier person. But yeah, people are still gonna get killed. I don't feel like because he's happy in love now, like he's not gonna, send them boys into the trap house and wipe everybody's nose. Like I think, if anything, sometimes when people are happy, they become more violent. Some people are like, what? I had a good night last night. I was able to get a lot of good rest. I don't like what was going over there on 48th Street. Mm-hmm. Wipe them out. You know what I'm saying? So,
not wipe everybody's nose. That
wipe everybody's nose.
And take care of everybody. Put everybody to sleep. I'm giving you a lullaby, baby. Like you going to bed. You know what I'm saying? Night, night. Remember that, Alicia? Night, 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 night.
Oh, I agree with both of you to a point. Sorry to be the butthole. Okay. But I honestly believe that she is going to cause him to lose focus. He's already got a very unhealthy obsession with her. And I can only imagine once she becomes his, how that obsession is going to grow. And then he's going to be head over heels in love. And then there's going to be the point where she's going to find out what he's really about. I think he's going to that she's going to make him lose focus on his family legacy. They might want him to be with a traditional Asian woman and not a Black woman. Because she's so focused on her businesses and stuff and getting her money and getting her stuff together. She might find out what he's about and then be like, hey, draw the line. Either you're going to get here or that, like Beanie Siegel, get down or lay down. It's gonna be one of them type of things with with him, and he might choose her. And then yeah, they will have to go on a run, being that he's from a triad family. So
Right.
that's where I'm at.
You
You think?
know, I definitely think that mixing those two worlds together is I think it's definitely going to cause some form of chaos because, you know, a lot of times in very traditional families, you need the consent, you need the approval of your parents. You need your family to approve of this. Chan's all in. Like, he ain't consulting nobody. You know, he's not consulting anybody. And also, when you come from like certain legacies, just even like with Rose City and Malia and her circle, these families already have plans of action mapped out. They already know, like, oh, okay, well, this will be a good family based on, like, it's almost like the playing cards. You know, when you look at like a player's stats, and you're like matching the different players against each other. You're like, okay, these two people have the same batting average or the same blah, 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 blah. I think like this is what really powerful families do when they look to unite. They're matching each other's portfolios and they're seeing like, you know, is this a good match for us? I'm thinking that Mr. Khan probably already has some ideas in his mind about some ladies who come from very traditional, prominent Chinese families who he would want to see his son with. And the fact that Chan is like, yeah, the hell with that, daddy. Kind of got my own thing going on over here. You know, I definitely think it's going to cause a problem.